doing well. I know I haven't posted a video on the course for quite a while, but I thought this video was necessary for quite a lot of you, as many of you understood the concepts but you weren't able to piece the puzzles together. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going through Euro USD, and I'll be starting off from the weekly and breaking down onto the lower time frame and showing you guys how I would approach the markets. So let's get straight into it. Now if I just head over to TradingView real quick, and I already have EU open. Now the first thing I'll do is mark out my areas of supply and demand, right? And I'd mark out the price cycle on every single time frame I approach. I'd mark out the price cycle, okay? Because the cycle plays out on every single time frame. And I personally like to trade between supply and demand, right? So the first thing that I can clearly identify is that price has reacted of this weekly supply right over here. Right, we can clearly see some rejections at this point over here. Now once we got some rejection, the price started to pull back. We can see that it started to pull back into an area of demand that was created right after this impulsive move. Now again, remember I told you I identified a price cycle on every single time frame. So we can clearly identify a nice price cycle right here. We have this area of consolidation right here. Price broke out of this area of consolidation and expanded to the upside, so we'll call that a change in character, right? Now we know price is in a bullish sentiment. Now once price moved over to the upside, it has now reacted of an area of supply right over here. That's when price started to move over to the downside. We saw some retracements down to a nice demand right over here. Not only did it react to this demand, but also filled in some imbalance that was here, and there was a gap created right here. And we know when a market creates a gap like this, it must come back to fill in that gap. And as you can see, it did come back and it filled in that gap and mitigated off this weekly demand right over here. Now once I have that marked out, I then head over to the daily time frame. Now what can I see on the daily time frame? You know what, first let me replay price back to this point over here. Now what can I see? Once price reacted of this area of supply, what did it start doing here? Distributing orders, right? So essentially this is an area of consolidation. So I'll have that marked out. And now let's zoom in a bit, right, into this area. Once price expanded over to the downside, we can see that there's some imbalances that was left, right? So let's mark out the last area of supply before that move over to the downside. So essentially this is a nice area of supply that we have on the daily, right? So let me zoom out a bit. Let me extend that area of supply. So now I know that price is approaching this area here. So what I'll simply do is wait for price to tap into this area before I start to make any decisions. I want to see how price reacts at this point, right? So let's continue to play price and watch how it approaches that area of supply. And remember the price cycle again, yeah, consolidation, expansion. We had some imbalance there that needs to be filled. Price retrace to fill in this. Is starting to go towards this area of imbalance and this area of supply. So now what we're going to want to do, we're going to want to short to catch that reversal. And now what do we have here again? Another area of consolidation. So we now know when we come to sell off from this area, we can target an area of demand anywhere here. And I can already identify one. At this point we have some nice imbalance here, and that was an unmitigated area of demand right here. So when price reacts of this level, I'll be looking to short potentially to this area over here. Now let's play price. Wait for it to tap in. There it is. Alright, let's replay price back to when it actually tapped. Now we head over to the 4 hour. Notice something here. As price is approaching this zone, it's starting to weaken. Notice how the move isn't impulsive anymore. It's very weak as it approaches this zone. This is a good sign, right? Now if I take out my RSI, what can we see? Price is creating higher highs, right? But then when you look at the RSI, what's price creating? Higher lows, right? Sorry, not higher lows. Lower highs. I know it's a bit late, I'm a bit sleepy. So it's creating lower highs, right? So we have some lower highs here and some higher highs being created here. Now that's a strong sign of a reversal. So that's one confluence, right? Now let's wait for price to actually tap into that zone. There it is. Now once price has tapped into that zone, we head over to the 1 hour time frame. Now let's get rid of our RSI. Sweet. So now that price has tapped into that area of supply that we had marked out on the daily, we still don't want to enter because our stop loss will be way too huge, right? Now if we entered, our stop loss would have been 60 pips. We don't want to do that. We want to wait for a lower time frame confirmation entry, right? Now on the hourly, I would personally like this structure to be broken before I look for any sells, right? We can head up, let's stick to the 1 hour for now. Would want this structure to be broken before we start to look for any sell positions, right? Because we don't want to be selling from here with a 60 pip stop loss. So now let's continue to play price and wait for that breaker structure. Now, as you can see, price wicked out and broke that structure. Once we got that breaker structure, notice how price created an area of, sorry, it's created some inefficient price action. We've got some imbalance right there that we know that needs to be filled in. So once we got that breaker structure, once we got that breaker structure, we have identified that price left over some imbalance. So price now must be retraced to fill in that imbalance and potentially mitigate of this area of supply. Now, what we can do is not necessary, but now we take out our fib, mark out that price range from the high to the low, and we clearly identify this nice hourly supply that aligns perfectly with the 79%. So now I would mark out this 1 hour area of supply. And now what I'll do is break it down. I'll head over to the 30-minute and see if I can refine it to anything. We can go off this candle. 15-minute. Beautiful. That would have been the last candle before that move over to the downside. And I'll set my stop loss at the top of that move. So I'd potentially enter up that 15-minute. Let's head over to the 5-minute, see if we see anything. Oh shit. Data point unavailable. Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, let's replay price back. No worries. Replay back here. Head over to the hourly. Alright, sweet. So as I was saying, we're on the 15-minute. We can't go into the 5-minute because the data is unavailable apparently. So we'll just stick to that 15-minute. Let's refine it to that wick. And let's still have our stop loss of the hourly. Sweet. So that would have been our entry, right? So now I would wait for price to pull back into that area for us to then look for sells. Now where would we be targeting? Remember I was talking about that area of consolidation on the daily. This area right here. Now we look for any imbalance. First of all, let's identify the liquidity, right? Let's get rid of that divergence. What can you spot over here? Trend line, right? Price is respecting this level here. It's respecting it all the way. And what does that build? It builds liquidity, right? What do we know okay, so let's go back to the price cycle, right? Let's head over back to that weekly. Remember the objectives, guys, yeah? Consolidation, expansion, okay? The objective of the expansion is to break structure. We've got that break of structure right here. Now, what's the objective of the retracement? The objective of the retracement is to fill in any imbalances, right? And we have that imbalance right here that's about to be filled in. Now, the reversal is about to happen. And what's the objective of the reversal? The objective of the reversal is to seek liquidity to take it out, right? Now, if we head over back to that 1 hour again, what have we identified here? Liquidity, right? And now we know we're in a reversal phase. And what's the objective of the reversal? To take out any liquidity, right? So that was another confluence for us to take that sell. We have some sell side liquidity here, and we have some imbalance at this point over here. So now when it comes to setting our TP, you can either TP here or TP here, but I'll be TPing, taking profit at this point here to be safe, right? So now we're shorting off of that 15-minute supply that we have marked out, and we'll be targeting that imbalance down over here. Now that's how I would personally approach every single pair, any market, no matter what the asset class is. That's how I would break it down. I'll start off with a higher time frame, mark out any structural breaks, mark out any supply and demand areas that has already reacted off. Then I'd mark out the price cycle. I'd mark out the areas of consolidation, the areas of expansion, and any imbalances that allows me to identify areas of supply and demand on the lower time frame. As price taps into the higher time frame supply and demand, I won't take a position. I'll wait for some lower time frame change of character. So at this point over here, that would have been our change of character, right? Because price was printing higher lows, but then what did it print right here? A lower low. It didn't sustain its upside. It broke through that low. That's what we call a change of character. Once I identify that on the lower time frame, then I would look for my entry. And as you can see, we found one on that 15-minute. So now let's play price and let's see what happens. There it goes. Price has now tapped into our area of supply. We're in sells, and we'll be targeting that imbalance down here. And there it goes. It's as simple as that. That's how I personally like to approach any pair. Mark out the price cycle. On the higher time frame, mark out my areas of supply and demand, wait for a reaction of the higher time frame areas of supply and demand, and then wait for a change of character on the lower time frame. Then I'll get in on that confirmation entry. Okay? And remember guys, you have to remember what phase you're in. Make sure you're identifying whether you're in a retracement phase or you're in that reversal phase. Because when you identify the phase that you're in, you understand the objective of you understand the objective of where price is heading. So because we identify that we're in a reversal phase right now, remember what's the objective of the reversal? To seek liquidity. So now that we know we're in a reversal phase right here, we then start to look for liquidity areas, because that gives us a confluence to short. We have identified our liquidity area right here. So now we know that when price reverses, it's definitely going to seek this liquidity. So that gives us a confluence to short. Not only because we've got a change of character, but also because there's liquidity that we know the reversal is going to seek. Alright guys, I hope that was very straightforward. So as you can see, price has hit our take profit and filled in that imbalance. Could have secured a nice 1 to 25 risk to reward on this trade. Feel free to message me if you do have any questions, and I hope you lot enjoyed this video. Take care.